Ready. So, those of you tuning in maybe have not watched Kart before. This is a 6v6 war where players and team settings are turned off, which means you can take red shells or any items. So, a lot of communication is required in strategy. Make sure that you're pushing things, items. These players have worked all season. Not even just here, so they've lost the first of the season. Back, got the number 1 seed headed into playoffs here. In-person spectating, Wartburg is packed out right now. Back to the brim. The amount of couches and chairs we have. Lots of bells and signs made in the audience of these players. So hopefully the mental for Wartburg is solid and feeling pumped. That's going. And we'll have 2 perspectives for you guys tonight. We'll be able to switch back and forth. Perspective of support and the perspective of combat. The production quality's improved a bit, so we can see some more action from more of our almost nice This is being co-streamed as well by that one as well. Mike, I believe that's what we're waiting for right here. Both. Good memes here. Get the fly meme. Last. Got SpongeBob in here. Alright, here we go. Set up. Looks like it's a new Bowser City pick versus headed about the way that the course has been chosen is that it's not alternating or anything. It's not loser picked. It is just random 50-50 whose course gets picked. So the first race now. Once again, link at and a little bit right. That's burned out. Not even. Like, gotta respect it. And this course is, even though it's not Wartburg pick, it's a course that Wartburg has behind the body. Of running, he has a phenomenal time. Really pull away from having on the way. He has nothing to touch right now. Starting one up here now. Look at this top three right now. Yoshi all on the side of Wartburg. had a second, longest second. The second CKL on the way. Tough break for Wartburg. Kart now falling behind a little bit. Probably going to want to see that cut at the end. All of them right there. Here's another double item block. Probably wise. Cut the off road. Lewis and Clark also able to take that chunk. Looks like Wartburg's going to have top 3. Let's do Cookie Cat here. See how she's finishing up. Gets that bullet. Looks like that's going to be in 11th place. Score update there. It's a 16-point swing in favor of Wartburg, so that's a great race to start. Anything over 10 points is a good race. Anything over 20 is great. You see these 3 orange Yoshis here in the top 3 spots, because whatever place you finish in the previous race is where you start the next one. So track selection can involve a lot of strategy of making sure that you pick tracks that are helpful to whatever place you're going to start with. Some tracks are better to start in first, some tracks are better to start in the middle of the pack, some tracks are better to start in the back. Lewis and Clark gonna get hit by a red shell there. That's one of the dangers of starting in first, or at least higher up, is that you will most likely get hit by a red shell. So you'll probably just get a coin or something, and not be able to play defense and block. And Rainbow Road, classically known as one of the hardest tracks in the game. Not sure if that's necessarily true anymore, but always used to be the case. As you can see, there's almost no walls anywhere on here. There's walls right here, but for the most part, you can fall off at any given point. You got to make sure that your driving is on. And a shock pulled on the side of Cookie Cat right there. And shock, the lightning as people might call it, known as shock in the community. The shock is one of the best items in the game in team play, because if you pull it and make sure that as many teammates as yours as possible have a star or a boo or anything that can make you invincible for a short period of time, they can shock while everybody what's called dodging the shock. So it shocks only the opposing team. It's one item that can hit everybody on the opposing team. And it can really swing the things in somebody's favor. As you see, Lewis and Clark right here was down in like 10th place, and now is in 2nd after that shock was off, since he was able to dodge it. If we peek over to Cookie Cat now, went from 11 to 4th because of the shock. So it can be an entire race swinger. Sometimes when your whole team's in the back, you might purposely try to stay even further back, because the further you are from first, the more likely you are to get shot. It's a little bit of item manipulation goes into the strategy of the game. Lewis and Clark he was in 2nd place there, tried to dodge the blue shell that was hitting 1st place, and accidentally fell off himself. But Cookie Cat in 2nd here with a Mushroom to spare. That's a great item to smuggle up into 2nd place. Just going to hold on to it, through a double item block, but opts to maintain the current items that you had already. You're so good. Having a mushroom right here is right here to finish out the race. And that's going to be a 1-2. Let's go over. That's going to be 3 for Water, but 4 for Wartburg. me go double check the spots there so I can get the score updated properly. And that is a big swing. That is an 18-point swing now for the side of Wartburg. These two races have been phenomenal starts for them. And if they get Dragon Driftway here, they do. So that is Wartburg's pick. They've practiced this one a lot. It's great for when you are starting in the front. And Lewis and Clark specifically, there's a huge shortcut you can take when there's nobody near you. If you get bumped, you can kind of totally mess things up. So it's a little risky, but you can jump over a huge turn in this game. And if you miss the jump, you fall off. Not, you get a huge time saver. So we'll see if Lewis and Clark tries to go for it here. It is kind of near the beginning. It's right after this turn. A lot of people, so he might not go for it. Does go for it. So right there, boom, you can jump, take that cut. Took him all the way to first. It looks like 2 members of Wartburg were able to hit that cut right there. Great start. Now, as Lewis and Clark looks like he's front running a bit, let's tune back over to Cookie Cat, see how she's doing. Back in 9th, mushroom in hand, able to cut across the grass here. Also very nice. It's a great course for an inward drifting bike. Guys, she slightly bumps the wall and falls off, gets thrown off trajectory there, and then gets starred by a teammate as well. Just going to toss those bananas. Says, I don't need them. 12th place, hopefully I get some better items. So likely we are going to be looking to see Cookie Cat trying to get Shock here. Hoping for it. Triple shrooms into a star. Goes for the cut. Doesn't quite get it too well. Looks like Wartburg, it does have more of the back spots. Looks like JBU has first, but Wartburg actually looks like they have second and third right now. So if anyone can get a blue shell, that'd be huge for the side of Wartburg. Not sure if first place has a dodge or anything. Let's switch back here to Lewis and Clark. Probably going to go for it. Has a blue shell. Oh, misses the shortcut right there. And that's one of the downsides of going for it. But it looks like Wartburg was able to just take first right there. So Lewis and Clark going to be forced to just hang on to this blue shell till the very end. Should be able to throw it and then mushroom up through the shortcut, though. Oh, he throws it right there. Wartburg getting first and second and maybe even third here. Looks like Wartburg really clutched up at the end, but maybe I spoke too soon. That's first and second. And 3 taken as well. And that is a phenomenal race with 1, 2, 3 going to Wartburg. Let's see what the point swing is. That was a 1, 2, 3 race for Wartburg, but a 9, 10, 11 for the bottom 3. So JBU taking the middle of the pack there. Overall, 10-point difference. So that's an overall 44-point difference now for Wartburg. That is a pretty significant lead. I mean, definitely not anything that can't be a difference that's made up for JBU. They're still in it for sure. Wartburg's going to have to make sure they're playing solid to win it. And it's only a few races in. That was only 3 races so far. 12 races, and then it's reset. So it's a best of 3 of the 12 races. And we've said this in some previous live streams, but it's great being able to cast Mario Kart because they play directly outside the broadcasting room. So we can hear their cheers, hear their energy, even while we're casting in here. We heard lots of cheers after that top 3 finish there. So we know that the adrenaline's pumping for Wartburg. Let's hope that they stay on. Now, John Longon has been on stream in the past. You can see him on racing on Daisy right there. This is famously his favorite track in the game. We haven't raced this too much in the past, but yeah, I think we've been working on it a lot more just so John Longon can try to get first and then run away with it. So whenever he gets a top place, we'll try to get there. We'll switch over to Cookie Cat here, who's in third. John Longon in second up there. We can kind of see the battle. Cookie Cat still working at fourth. That's a kind of a dangerous spot to be in because you're so close to catching up to first, but at the same time, in a place like fourth, that means fifth, sixth, and seventh are right behind you getting phenomenal items. So you aren't able to use your items too aggressively frequently. And with inside drifting, it can be a little tough to find these fine lines. There's oftentimes little paths between the subways that go through here and the off-road. So you have to be able to control your drift just perfectly to ride that very, very narrow line, which can be a little bit more difficult to do with inside drift on this track. As that second place quickly falls, as Mario Kart seems to make happen. And just the way that Mario Kart works, usually once you get hit by one item, you're just getting hit by item after item after item. You see some members of JBU accidentally bump into that subway there. So something that I haven't mentioned yet is the coins. You may have noticed that there's items on the course, but there's also all these coins you see people picking up. You see their coin counter at the bottom left. The amount of coins you have dictates what your maximum speed is, all the way up to 10. And it's a very significant speed increase between 0 coins to 10 coins. So making sure you get those coins is very important. And that is a top 3 finish now from JBU. We'll see how the points swing here. That was a 10-point swing for JBU there. So Wartburg has the lead by 34 points. We're heading into Bowser Castle 3. Actually, this is the first time I've ever noticed it's not Bowser's Castle. It's just Bowser Castle. I've said it wrong my whole life. This is not a course we see too frequently from the side of Wartburg. So it'll be interesting to see how they race it tonight. All the pressure's on. You're playing a course you haven't practiced as much in a 6v6 format. But we'll switch over to Lewis and Clark here, who currently in first. You know, it's just the first half of the first lap, so anything can happen still. Has the defense, has a teammate behind him to be able to play defense for him. And it's extremely important that when you have somebody in first, you also want to have a teammate in second as well. So that way, the second place team member can kind of just play defense, block any red shells. And the first place can worry about cycling items to just get the one item that can, well, there's usually 2 items that can dodge a blue shell. One is the speaker, the little boombox looking item. That one can straight up destroy any items around you. A mushroom can also be used to boost out of the way of the blue shell right as it slams down onto you. So those are the 2 items that can dodge a blue shell. So frequently you want to have one person, second, playing defense, first place, cycling their items, trying to get that speaker in first place, which is a pretty low percentage chance to find. And as that lead grows more and more from the side of Lewis and Clark, we'll take a look over here at Cookie Cat. Now Cookie Cat has the blue shell, which, the way Mario Kart works, there cannot be 2 blue shells on the field at the same time. So the fact that Cookie Cat has this blue shell means that Lewis and Clark doesn't have to worry about getting defense of the blue shell, because this is the only one that's allowed to be in the game. So as long as she holds on to it, she might be sacrificing herself since she's not able to grab some more items. But she is helping first place out a lot. So she's going to throw it now as Lewis and Clark is about to cross the finish line to hopefully get some better items for herself, maybe get a place or 2 before the finish line. And that shock is actually going to help her a lot. Oh my gosh, goes from 12 to 6 at the last second. That's how powerful the shock is if you don't get shocked and everybody else is. scores updated there. And as we saw at the end of that last race, it's extremely important to make sure that there is team play involved. And so you might think that you're not earning your team too many points if you do end up closer to last, but we saw there from Kat, even though she was able to snag 6 at the last second, that sometimes sacrificing your own position to allow your team to get first can be extremely important. So every team member of a Mario Kart team matters so much. Oh, and Cookie Cat kind of greeds the double item block there. Usually if there's someone right in front of you, it is a little obvious that they're going to go for the double item block, so you might play it safe and go for the single. But she risks it, tries to get the double item block too, and ends up just getting and if you do play Mario Kart as well, you may see that Cookie Cat chose to take the main path there rather than the shortcut on the left. That shortcut's actually a long cut. It actually is faster to just go straight through the middle if you take the proper line. If you go out of your way for the double item block, then it's a little bit slower. So it's pretty even which side you go, which is odd. That's not actually ordered. And Lewis and Clark also running away with it a little bit in first place. Cat in 6 with these 3 mushrooms. See what she can do. Gets caught by a green shell. That's one more downside to that drifting right there. Is your camera is kind of looking at an awkward angle when you're drifting. So things can just fly out from your sides of your screen, taking the last second, you turn right into them. No time to avoid it. Where when you're playing outside drifting, it's called, and most other combinations, it's a lot easier to see what is coming at you as you're doing. That item is the Crazy 8 there. You get 8 items, all of which are very good. Usually players would just kind of spam the item button. Uses whatever's directly in front of you, but kind of hard to time and also steer your vehicle. So most people would just kind of spam all of them. The main thing that's good that comes out of it is the star, though. See a lot of stars on the minimap right now. Shock could be used here. Lewis and Clark is going to snag it first. Cookie Cat still scrambling for this last position here. And let's update the scores, see where we're at now. That's a 12-point swing in favor of Wartburg College. The difference is now 54 in favor of Wartburg College, and that's after 6 races. So we're now halfway done with this war, and Wartburg leads by 54. So great first half so far. And Hyrule is the pick now. That is what Wartburg voted for, so should be in favor of them. The good thing about Hyrule for Wartburg right now is the positions that they're in. So this one's great to be front running, or great to be in the middle of the pack. It's called what's called a shroomer, where sometimes if you just get a mushroom, you can take a pretty significant shortcut and gain a lot of distance. So it's really good to start in the middle of the pack, try to get a mushroom right away, and take a big shortcut. I believe this is a shroomer. That is one archetype of courses. I may be incorrect on that. Lewis and Clark running away with it in first, once again, just maintaining that lead. Switch over back to him, see how he's doing. Now there is a big shortcut right here. If you hit that drift just right, you can jump over that whole grass patch, as Lewis and Clark demonstrates wonderfully there. Now normally you might need a mushroom to get through there, but it is possible to do what's called a no item shortcut, or a NISC for short. And you can use kind of that mini turbo boost you get from drifting to propel you through an off-road section. If you just use a little hopping mechanic, then you're technically not off-road for a little bit. And because there's a little ramp, you can hop at the right time and hop over most of that grass. There's also a fun mechanic here that if you hit all those diamonds as you're going down that ramp, it opens a shortcut through the middle that players can take as well. as Lewis and Clark doesn't quite properly hit that shortcut, but it is going to be significant enough to get him a pretty good lead. But there is a blue shell in his way, nothing to defend it. JBU in second place going to look to take advantage of that there. And a wonderful play from Lewis and Clark. He runs into that banana peel on purpose right there, because the amount of stun, if you will, that the banana peel puts you in is not near as much as the blue shell, and you can't get hit by 2 items at the same time. You have a small window of invincibility. So he hits himself by that banana on purpose so that he can not get hit quite as hard by the blue shell. It still is enough to allow water to take the lead there, and there's a shortcut that opens up when you hit all those diamonds. And this is a pretty close race. Oh, narrowly dodges that plant there that tries to nip at him and takes first at the last second. He's going to be able to keep it, and he does. We'll switch over to Cookie Cat here. See how she's able to do as this race finishes up. Gets that star. Looks like there's going to be a 9th place there for Cookie Cat. And that is a 1, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 race on the side of Wartburg. So that is going to be still a 2-point gain for Wartburg. First place can really do a lot there. So Wartburg's only have 1 negative race so far in this first war. And we got Crick joining us on commentary here in a bit. So welcome. I hear you were at the Wartburg baseball game.
Yeah, that's really, oh my God, I just realized how loud I was. I got a lot of adrenaline. I just called the craziest baseball game of my life, I think, actually. So.
Wow. Did Wartburg come away with a dub?
Yeah.
Go Knights.
Don't mind the lag. It was a grand slam in the 8th inning that kind of won it, so that was crazy.
Wow, a grand slam.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, go Knights. Anyway, back to Mario Kart. Let's switch over to Lewis and Clark's perspective here. Run away in first on Mushroom Gorge. I almost accidentally called it Mushroom George, as I like to do playfully.
I thought he was going to hit his own banana there first.
Yeah. Wow, that was impressive. So there is a shortcut on this course as well, that final turn there. You can also jump over there, but it does require a mushroom.
Ironically, or I guess fittingly, I guess it's the way to put it.
It is Mushroom George, after all.
Notoriously. Can I ask what race number this one is?
This is race number 8.
Perfect.
So Wartburg has only had 1 negative race so far.
Yeah, coming in as the 1 seed, you would expect them to do pretty well, especially in a grand situation. But did I ask you real quick, turn the game audio down? I'm losing focus for myself. I'm going crazy.
Yeah. There we go. Hopefully that's better for everybody watching.
Now my brain is just a little fried. I was saying the entire time I was there, it's like, I just called the craziest game, and now I have to go watch Mario Kart win a championship. So
yeah, some crazy Wartburg sports games being played right here. Hopefully history being made. Well, it's history regardless, as this is the first ever Mario Kart season, but hopefully some even better history of getting first place in the first ever Mario Kart season.
Yeah, things carry on as they are. I don't know why that would change at all. Might be able to, does land on the mushroom, is able to get the boost from it.
Well, I wonder how calculated that was, if you just hope for the best, or knowing Lewis and Clark, he probably had that planned, was able to still get first place even after that.
Yeah, probably slammed on the brakes there. Nice positions there. You see it there in the total standings too. 1, 2, 3, all in favor of Wartburg.
That was a 1, 3, 4 race for Wartburg. And it's a 6-point swing in favor of Wartburg. So not huge gains, but gains nonetheless. And as long as you're constantly getting gains like that, the game as the total amount of races left ticks down more and more, it's going to be harder to make that comeback.
Yeah, well, it's gains or no gains. So gains, infinite gains or no gains, notoriously.
Yeah, that is how it works.
SNES Rainbow Road here.
Yeah, which is an interesting pick, because I believe this is a better front-runner map, or course, or track, as I should say. And Lewis and Clark does have the first spot, which I believe he is pretty decent at this track. As I mean, Lewis and Clark is phenomenal on most tracks.
That's true. It's also could just be a case of, well, this is what our strategy dictates. You never know. I'm always unsure how to think of the strategy in Mario Kart, whether it's you should have something preset or you kind of just go with it in the moment in terms of what tracks you're selecting and how you're racing.
And that's what makes this game so difficult. Is you practice in time trials where you practice your optimal lines as much as possible, which is good to know. And usually you mostly only get those when you're in first, when you're in the middle of the pack and you're dodging these items, you're dodging all these other players. You have to make these like in the moment decisions of, do I swing out wide on this turn? Do I cut it as tight as possible? Do I go for the double item or the single item? Do I go for these coins or not? There's so many little decisions that go into every single turn in this game.
It really is interesting just how much of a difference even the smallest thing. Granted, it's a racing game. You would expect even the smallest difference in line to make a huge difference, but it's just so weird how, like, because sometimes what line you take isn't even up to your control. You get hit with a shell and you have to end up going on a less optimal line than what you want. You get hit with a shell, you get hit with a shock as you're going through what you need a shroom for. It really is just it's a game where there is a lot of skill, but so much of it is just out of your hands.
Yeah, it's luck, but you control as much luck as possible by putting yourself in optimal situations. So frequently people are like, well, I just got hit by an item there and there's nothing we could do, which in practices we've talked a lot about this actually, is sometimes you do make one mistake 1 or 2 moments earlier, and that leads to you being vulnerable to getting hit by an item there. As Lewis and Clark takes first, we'll try to switch over to Cookie Cats. I believe it's a little choppy here right now from feed from this switch, but it looks like Cookie Cat gonna snag 8th there. Got some horns from the crowd. Love to see it.
Where'd that her footage choppy? It seemed like it was working fine and when we were testing things.
Yeah, it was working fine the first half of this war here, and
Gotcha.
then it's kind of dropped out. Who knows? Networking is confusing.
And it also just might fix itself eventually. You never know.
It's still a 4-point swing for Wartburg, so this lead continues to grow as the races dwindle.
Sky Garden, the pick from Wartburg.
I love Sky Garden, man. It's just such a aesthetically pleasing track. And the turns feel satisfying. There's a few shortcuts in it if you have some mushrooms that you can take.
Lewis and Clark, naturally the point leader with 103 so far. A difference of 66 between the two teams. We'll go. His footage also just looks brighter for some reason.
Yeah, it is the difference between the two graphics cards.
That's true. The cap cards.
I mean, yeah, the capture cards. Wow, able to get a Ultra Mini Turbo there, which Ultra Mini Turbo UMT, that's the purple Mini Turbo, so the full charge of Mini Turbo on that turn. I didn't even think that was possible.
Well, a lot of that has to do with the inside drift. You're able to almost drive straight if you have an inside drift cart, especially.
Well, Lewis and Clark here is on outside drift. Even though it's a bike, it is outside drift. Scooty.
I guess I assume all bikes are inside drift.
Yeah, not the case actually, which it does feel a little weird.
See Squid up top, Moon in second, John long gone. Right next, actually switching between spots with Lewis and Clark. Now 1-2 secured for Wartburg. Might be
the technique you saw Lewis and Clark do right there on that mushroom is called a super bounce. If you release your mini turbo boost right before you hit the mushroom and you trick immediately afterwards, it actually launches you extremely far forward, which is what ultimately propelled him into that second place, had that mushroom to take the shortcut, now in first place.
Great toss on the boomerang, able to snipe Moon looking backwards. Was Lewis and Clark there?
That is extremely impressive. To use rear view cam in a game like this and then accurately use it to aim your items backwards just shows the amount of hours and work he's put in throughout this entire season.
And that ghost stealing nothing but a coin. Must feel bad for the person who tried to use it.
Blue shell on the way.
Cookie Cat. Actually, I don't think that'll be there in time. Cookie Cat just passing there in 11th, hitting the big boost.
And this might be game depending on what the point swing is here.
In case you didn't know, the maximum points you can get from a single race is, in fact, it's only 40. So if Wartburg ends up taking this,
And there, yeah, there it is. That's a
game
80
one to
point.
Wartburg.
Game one, I believe they'll still finish it out, play the rest of the races. I do not know if I remember for sure what the ruling is, because it's team voted game by game.
I'm pretty sure
for the tracks resetting or not.
From what I've heard from Wartburg is that they will oppose a track reset. They, as a unanimous sweep on DK Summit.
Yeah, I wonder what track is going to be here.
It's a great question. Actually, the morale of getting your track picked is huge.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, fly! It goes to Fly Guy.
There you have it. But what I have heard that at least throughout the rest of the week, Wartburg has been opposed to a track reset. They want to make JBU race on what they're comfortable on only once, not let them reset. Especially because a lot of the discussion that the team has had is the fact that they have such a different taste in tracks to JBU.
Yeah, that is true. Wartburg just hoping that the amount of work that they put in this season gives them just a wider track knowledge, which you would think is the case. And that's what happens when you start in first. You just are going to get red shelled, and unfortunate time to get red shelled.
That's
Lewis and Clark giving a seizure to everybody with epilepsy watching.
Naturally. Most inconsiderate player on the team.
Yeah, now you saw him going up those ramps there to get those coins. That's something that a less experienced player would not do. Usually when you're in last, people think, oh my gosh, I need to take the tightest lines possible to get back and get caught up. But realistically, it's not about getting caught up right now. You're going to have the good items come your way. It's about building up that comeback mechanics, building up those coins so you can get max speed and go from there.
That's also not even considering you got 3 laps.
Exactly.
You don't have to get back right after you drop all the way down to 12. It's a war of attrition more than anything.
Another fun fact about that little glider, you can do a trick on that ramp there, but it makes you slower than if you just hop over the ramp before it sends you into that launcher. Weird thing about Mario Kart.
Top 3 all Wartburg. You see Cookie Cat sitting up in first.
Switch to some Cookie Cat POV here.
Still going to hear
Has
the
a mushroom and a red shell up in first.
Still going to hear the Yoshi noises.
Yeah, that's the way our stream is set up right now. It's how it's going to be. Opsy used the mushroom there to kind of go through the heavy snow portion there. But it might have been better to save the mushroom when you are in first, because it is one of the few items that can dodge a blue shell.
I never realized that Link was smiling the whole time that he's racing.
What a guy.
Just loves to have fun.
And even after that shock, it looks like Cookie Cat's still going to maintain that first place position.
Lewis and Clark with the star, you can hear it. Actually, I think he dodged the shock with that star.
Yeah, not sure if he did or not, but that's going to be a Wartburg top 3 as the Bullet Bill comes swinging now. Final lap here.
Red shell.
Lewis and Clark, no defense. Blue shell coming for Cookie Cat in first place as
2
well.
bullets.
And Cookie Cat falls off after getting hit by that blue shell, actually.
Turn on the auto steer.
Now, that is a technique. Auto steering is allowed. Now, overall, it usually slows you down, which is why the better players wouldn't want to use it. But when you have mushrooms, you can kind of just spam the mushrooms and let the auto steering take hold. And almost takes that there. One more spot. And I mean, we just watched this and hope for good placements from Wartburg, but at the end of the day, this war is already said and done.
It really is just a question of what tracks will or will not be allowed in the second and third games at this point.
That's true. That is true. There is still strategy going into these stage picks here.
Swing of 4. Am I right in that?
Yep, swing of 4. So still only 1 negative race for Wartburg.
The random pick, JBU trying to just not take one of their picks off of the board. I think after this I am going to run out there and ask to make sure that they are not doing a reset as well, just to be safe.
Yeah, double check what we got. You know, Moonview Highway, I gotta say, not one of my favorite tracks. Any track that has cars on the road, I just hate those. Maybe it's because I suck.
I think it's silly. I think it's silly.
Definitely is silly. It is Mario Kart after all, but
Well, this is if you go to Tokyo, this is what you can do. I don't think it's legal, but you can't just race karts as Mario characters. I think it's actually provably illegal, actually.
I would think so. And Lewis and Clark using that mushroom to his advantage there to just kind of go past everybody. Another fun fact about Mario Kart is that you see Lewis and Clark kind of just drifting back and forth there for a second. That's called snaking. With most cart combinations, it depends on your card sets.
Oh, he
that
hit
green
himself.
shell.
No, he hit himself.
Oh, it was his own green shell. You hate to see that happen. But the snaking is actually faster than just driving in a straight line because you get these little boosts going back and forth, just like that. So you want to fit those in as much as possible whenever you have a wide enough road.
I talked to, I think it was Squid. I ate dinner with Squid, at least a little bit of it before I had to run and go do baseball. And he and I talked, and I said, I think it was like, obviously no matter what, if Wartburg, no matter the result here, Wartburg should be moving up in divisions, just given how the season went for them, as Lewis and Clark gets hit with a bomb there. But it really should be a case where Wartburg should probably be able to move up in divisions. It really just how far is the question. I was thinking at probably D5 isn't out of the question, depending, but there are a lot of very good teams in D5. I think I said if you guys win, the furthest you could go is probably D4. But even then, I think I'm stretching it on that if I'm honest.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I would guess that D5 is where we're gonna go. And we are graduating 2 seniors. So shout out to the seniors on the team, Lukey and Cookie Cat. They will be graduated after this, so they will be greatly missed. So we'll have to see what the team looks like as a whole next year and how that affects placements. But yeah, just more of a wait-and-see game. But definitely we'll be moving up. Div 7, once again, I think that was his own green shell.
That might have been, but Lukey and Cookie Cat actually coming in for second and third. It didn't really make much of a difference.
Yeah, team-wise, not at all.
As we get the final score for this, I will run and ask to see what the stratagem is.
And it ends up being a 100-point difference in the first match there. So that's going to be game 1, going to Wartburg now.
There you have it. You want to change that? Yep, there you have it. I think this is actually the fullest I've seen the room for a spectacle in terms of people coming in and watching.
Yeah, we have a great turnout. I mean, we've had a handful in the past for some Rocket League games, for some Smash games. But yeah, huge turnout here, especially since the rest of the teams are already finished with their seasons. So a lot of the other game titles are able to show up and support their...
Do you want to switch to my camera?
And here we go. You can see some of the signs now made by some of the fans. We even got the face paint going on. We love Wartburg. I heart Yoshi. W diff. Moms against blue shells. That's a good one. I'm not losing. I'm bagging. You know, it's all strat. We got the Lukey Pookie sign.
So Yoshi is gone, by the way. There is no Yoshi.
Teddy Buggy and Mr. Scooty. That is the carts we're running, as well as the Yoshi bike.
There you have it. There's the fan. You see it there? This way. I forget everything's mirrored like this. difference of 100 between the two teams. Game 1 going to Wartburg. It's a best of 3 here tonight for the Division 7 finals of the Collegiate Karting League. You can watch our perspective, obviously, and thank you so much for doing so, but if you're interested in getting a little bit of both of the teams, the Collegiate Karting League is also streaming on their Twitch page. It's twitch.tv/collegiatekl. That's just it shortened. Of course, feel free to support them. The league has been absolutely perfect to us, and they've done a great job of making sure everything that our team is doing has been running functionally. I know Lewis and Clark has had a lot of conversations between them and the staff, sometimes by himself, just kind of as to make sure things are going on. As essentially, was he ever fully named the captain, or was there just kind of it became how it is?
I think it just became how it is, but he's the official captain.
Yeah. As captain, Lewis and Clark has been doing a lot of things also with the people around there. It's a really fun community, and if you're interested in seeing both perspectives of both teams at the same time, with probably a little bit more knowledgeable on the topic, we know as much as we do, and it's not a decent sum, but it's certainly not as much as them. They are the ones who run the entire league, so they're doing a great job of it. I'm sure I haven't been able to tune into what they've actually been streaming. I just realized they moved the chair. The disrespect. This is why we can't have fans.
Yeah, they just come raiding the broadcasting room
all the time.
How dare they?
Notorious for happening all of the time, by the way.
Yes, famously.
But yeah, they've been great for us. They've been great to us, and we really can't wait to be a part of this league for years to come. Really interested to see how it's going to be for next year, especially given the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World's coming out. But I guess we'll keep you guys posted as much as we know, which is nothing at the current moment.
Yeah, a lot up in the air. Especially with the Switch 2, it could go either way. I mean, typically games play on the newest version of a game, but it is a lot to ask to expect a lot of people by next year already to have a Switch 2 and a copy of Mario Kart World already. And not just one copy, but 6 copies so that everybody can play it together.
At least.
Yeah,
we don't know. We actually have no clue how big the teams are going to be.
That's true, because it is 24 people in one race. I would assume it'd probably be 6v6 still, but
I think
never know.
There was a format that, there was a format that they did where I've heard that they actually didn't go, like it wasn't 5v5. I think it was DS. They didn't do 5v5. They stayed 4v4. It was either 7 or DS. So they just decided we're just going to do less people because it's more manageable.
Yeah, I believe that's how the Iowa High School Association is running their Mario Kart League. As well as it is 4v4 currently.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it comes down to resources, and thankfully enough, we're part of the athletics here at Wartburg, so we're able to, and I know a lot of the people on the team have brought their own Switches to make sure that they have their own perspective, which is why we have the 2 perspectives that we have here of just Cookie Cat and just Lewis and Clark. But yeah, this season has been a great success. Of course, it's not done. Still got 1 game to win to bring home the Div 7 title. Well, I think we've got a little bit to wait still.
Yeah, probably taking 5, maybe getting a breather, maybe taking a bathroom break, drink some water, making sure that we're ready to go. It could be a long time before this game is over. If it goes all the way to Game 3, that's a lot of Mario Kart to be played.
There is. You can probably hear it in my voice. I've used it a lot today. I've been talking for at least 6 hours straight at this point. So
that's the way we do it here.
I'm experiencing more at Wartburg College.
It's worth it.
Well, my sticker only says worth now. The it part came off.
Yeah, so all these tracks, so like we said earlier, these tracks are not able to be played once again now that they've been played this first war. So a lot of Wartburg's favorites are out, but we can assume a lot of JBU's favorites are out as well.
I was going to ask, what was the split from ours to their courses?
I wasn't fully keeping track. It felt pretty even, though, overall. It also felt more our-sided at points, but that's because like they picked Neo Bowser City first to start, which is famously one of Wartburg's favorite tracks. So
I think that is really interesting, the fact that there is a strategy like JBU had there of just picking random, because it's a throwaway. Essentially, at that point, you don't want to burn one of your tracks. You would hope that Wartburg would burn one of theirs, unless, of course, they've done their studying, and JBU was a fan of insert track name that I already forgot, the one with the cars.
Moonview Highway.
Yes. Unless that is notoriously a JBU track, which I think they finished first in. So it might have been.
It could have been, yeah, to get rid of some of their tracks. That definitely makes sense.
It's all in the mind games. Mario Kart notoriously a mental game. Actually, I say that as a joke, but it's true because you need to have a mental to not break at all as you race.
Yeah, especially in a game like Mario Kart that can be extremely frustrating. You could be in first the whole race, but all that matters is how you are, what position you're in as you cross that finish line. So all it takes is one blue shell, then you get red shell, then you get lightninged, and then you get hit by item after item after item, and you end up getting 9th when you were in first the whole race, and that's a horrible feeling. And then you got to hop right back into the next race, and having a good mental, really important to push you through all that.
As we can I ask what's going on in the chat? What's going on in Twitch chat? What's going on Twitch chat?
We got a lot of fans of Cookie Cat.
Yep.
People loving the signs. And a lot of just Wartburg emotes.
Yeah. What is it? It's
the Sir Victor.
Yeah, it's colon, I think WC Sir Vict. I think it's just VICT. That's a follower emote, by the way. So if you just follow the channel, I think for about, I don't think you get it right away. I think you have to be following for about 5 minutes or so before you can start using the emote. But it is free to use. I was trying to go through earlier this year to see what emotes were good and what weren't in terms of what we could do, because I mean we don't have any subs on the page, which is don't sub to the page. We don't know how to get the money. Don't do that. We don't know how to get the money.
If you do want to support Wartburg, you can donate specifically to the Wartburg Esports program, and then not have to go through Amazon taking the money. Amazon owns Twitch. Don't give Amazon your money. Just give it to us instead if you want to support the program. But you could sub too, I guess. I mean, nothing's stopping you, but
you could. But I'll be real, you don't really get anything outside of. I don't even know if we have ads on the page.
I think we do run a few ads. There might be pre-roll ads.
I think Twitch just inserts some a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, lots of Cookie Cat fans in the chat now.
And yeah, I also don't know if JBU is streaming, but if they are, make sure to also show them some love. This has been, from what I've seen at least, a pretty good experience for our team facing them. I know that over in the regular season, it was a pretty decent matchup, but yeah, I don't know if they're streaming. I know CKL is for certain. Make sure to spread the love around. We appreciate you watching here, as we are the best ones. Like biasedly, we're the best ones probably. But yeah, thank you so much for supporting us. But don't forget, we're not the only ones making this happen.
Yeah, this also sounds like a sign-off right now. I just want to be clear. There is more Mario Kart to be played.
There's a one up there.
There it is.
That's a one for a reason, because it's best of 3. I just didn't know if I'd have a chance to say that again. I wasn't sure. So
yeah. Definitely still grateful to all the supporters. I mean, we've had awesome support. It's nice. Sometimes we might not mention Twitch chat as much, but we do see what goes on in chat. So we love seeing the support from everybody. It reminds us that how amazing Wartburg fans are, Wartburg alums, anybody watching. We're just really, really grateful. And I believe that JBU is the one setting up the lobby now. And it should be up any second now. And we might be waiting a little bit for the CKL stream. Maybe they're talking about some stuff during this intermission. They might not be ready either. We got to wait for both productions to be ready before we can hop in. So
I don't think I've ever fully. I think we hear the typing of the Switch. I don't think I've ever actually paid attention to that background much. There's a lot of just random geometry sticking out. It looks nice. It's kind of random everywhere.
Yeah. It is a green screen, in case you couldn't tell.
I'm actually stuck in the void. I'm trapped here forever.
It's the only way to get into esports. You must enter through the void. But imagine, I'm trying to imagine right now what JBL must be focusing on right now, going on in their halftime adjustments, going into this game here, and they're probably talking which tracks to pick, which tracks to run. Honestly, it's hard to know just from watching our two perspectives here to know specifically what's going on in the macro level. Not sure how many items are getting hit by their own teammates or what. Maybe it's just some driving, some racing fundamentals. Lewis and Clark really excels at those as he time trials everything. So his fundamentals are phenomenal. So, yeah, at this point, it's hard to make adjustments sometimes right at the half. A lot of it comes down to the experience going into this. It's the days of practice that add up.
It really is. So, little background information, because this is something that I just wanted to know about John Brown University down in Siloam Springs, Arkansas. Also a private school, a non-denominational Christian. We here at Wartburg are Lutheran school. So, a lot of, I think this level is at least starting up their programs for Mario Kart are a lot of private schools, a few smaller schools. I think I read that their student body size was around 2,300. I don't actually know what ours are.
Our student body size is about 1,300.
Well, there you have it. So, if we're playing golf, we win. That's,
Yeah.
not to brag, but, yeah, we're a smaller school. All right, we're smaller. So.
A tighter knit community. You know?
Yeah.
Smaller professor faculty to student ratio.
I actually didn't see that part.
I don't know if that's true, but probably. One can imagine that the smaller the school is, the tighter faculty to student ratio. Not always, but frequently.
I'll be honest, it scares me sometimes when the Mii's look at the camera.
Don't make eye contact with SpongeBob.
I don't like it sometimes. It's wrong.
And here we go. Now the first track votes being voted for here as we head into this round number 2. And one thing that does go into Mario Kart that's weird about the way Nintendo makes their lobby setup is the position you start in for the first race is just who joins the lobby first. So usually the home team kind of just starts in the top 6 positions. So we got that round 1. Wartburg was hosting round 1. JBU hosting the lobby here. So JBU will have the ever so slight advantage going into this war, especially just this first race.
DK Jungle the pick. Race number 1 of war number 2 underway. See already Lewis and Clark sending himself through the pack, establishing himself in first place.
And that flower right there works just like a mushroom. He was able to do a super bounce off that. And it didn't look, as he checked his rear view cam, it looked like nobody else pulled off a super bounce except for him. So now that's why he's able to run away with this. Let's check over on Cookie Cat's perspective. Just got hit by a red shell there. Got knocked back into 7th. Mushroom in hand and a green shell in pocket. Gets caught by that green shell there.
It really is finicky when it wants to lag and when it doesn't. It looks like this looks fine.
And then all of a sudden it stutters a little bit. We'll head back over to Lewis and Clark since the feed's a little bit clearer on that one.
You saw it in the middle of the pack, though. Decent amount of Wartburg racers, 7, 8, 9 it was there. Back of the pack, it's looking like it is JBU racers. And in fact, right behind Lewis and Clark, 2 races for JBU. That White Yoshi, that Mario. I think actually that Isabelle. It's quite a few John Brown racers. Speaking of John Long Gun switching up on the star. You can see the daisy going rainbow on the minimap.
Yeah, they might have John Brown University. We have John Long Gun.
That's true.
The Battle of the Johns, this really should be titled.
Well, that's normally a Smash event, isn't it? But from what it's looking like here, 2, 3, 4 is a great way to establish yourself in a first race.
And the further away number 1 gets in this race, the more likely blue shells are to be pulled and the more likely shock is to be pulled. So we'll see as Lewis and Clark continues to grow this lead as he turns the last corner of this final lap. What's coming his way? The bomb he was able to use to destroy that red shell. You have to release the bomb just before the red shell hits you. He does have a speaker now. As a blue shell's coming for him, you'll watch as he's able to use this item to destroy this blue shell. But there's also a red shell coming his way. Multiple. Able to cross that finish line before the second one hit him. If he didn't cross that finish line in time, he actually might have lost first.
2, 3 for John Brown. I think 4 for John Long Gone for Wartburg. No, 5th for John Long Gone. Or, excuse me, Lukey. John
You got the horns. Not sure if you could hear that on stream, but there's horns in the crowd.
I didn't expect a clown horn.
Yeah, it's like a clown horn, just like a honka honka.
That's the last thing I expected. Oh my god.
It's still a positive race for Wartburg. It's 4 points.
Interesting.
For Wartburg, I guess first place matters so much.
It does. It's what? It's 15 points for...
15 points for first, 12 points for second. And then just about like a 1 point drop off for everything else. So
yeah, a little bit. It's what's it called? Exponential.
Yes. So first place matters significantly more than everything else. Other than that, aside from first and second, yeah, it is just a 1 point difference between your places.
Gotcha. Madrid Drive, the Wartburg pick.
You know, I've recently changed my mind on a lot of these tour tracks. I used to hate them. I used to think they were boring. But as I've learned some of the more intricacies of some of them, I've started to like them more and more.
That's crazy. Who could have guessed it? The more you learn about something, and the more you understand it, the more you'll like it. It's almost like that's the human nature. But yeah, I used to think they were just really gimmicky. I still think they are a lot of the time. But at least I can appreciate what they do, because they do it very well. A lot of them are very smooth in how they transition to things.
Yeah, there are a decent amount of shortcuts on various parts of everything. Also, it's got a giant wiggler. Any course with a giant wiggler.
That is true. Maple Treeway is notoriously one of the best tracks because of the big wigglers. I didn't know you could ride that curb.
Yeah, I don't know if he meant to ride the curb specifically, but I think he could just kind of hop through the grass and it's faster than going around. Which I didn't know that, but did they? I mean, they must not have raced on this one already. But I remember seeing them hop through the grass. I think there was just another track that is a very similar final
I think there's
shortcut.
a few, yeah. I think it is Cookie Hat. Yep, it is Cookie Cat riding in second place. And it looks like there's an orange Yoshi behind her.
And here's one of those shortcuts that you might not know about at first, but you can sneak through those tables. That's Lewis and Clark opts to just toss that bomb away.
It can become more of an inconvenience than anything, as there's the reason he was holding that coin as the ghost comes up, barely misses the water fountain. Go through the arc. I actually don't know what that one's called.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
I know the one in Paris is the Arc de Triomphe.
Oh, okay. Flex on him.
Yeah. The double
Bridge
picked
to
up.
me.
Have
So
to make
Lewis
sure-
and Clark trying to get this item position exactly where he has a coin in the first slot and then defense in the second slot. So just in case Boo comes and steals your item, only steals the coin and doesn't steal your defense. But I guess because second is so secure right now with Cookie Cat in second place, looking to get a blue shell defense instead. Cookie Cat still is in second with a mushroom and a red shell. As we turn this final corner, nobody even there to contest either of them. No blue shells that whole race. Oh, yeah, there was none.
Yeah, one just thrown out actually by John Long Gone.
Oh, that's why there was no blue shells. Wartburg was holding on to it.
That's perfect strategy there. In case you didn't know, in terms of what items can and can't be used, I think Fish forgot to take that screenshot there.
Yep, missed the positions. Let me go double check what we got.
Just clip. You can go to Twitch and clip it. That's what I've done before. If it's a problem. But something in case you didn't know, blue shells and shocks, only one of them can be in possession at a time. I think they're independent. I don't think it's either a blue shell or a shock. It's both of them at the same time. I think they can coexist. But only one of them can be held at a time. Waluigi Stadium, the pick from Wartburg. I'm actually kind of surprised that hadn't been picked before. Listening for the 1, 2, 6. 1, 2, 6, 9, 10, 12. 1, 2, 6, 9, 10, 12. As I try to repeat that enough for Fish to 1, 2, 6, 9, 10, and 12. As we get started, race number 3. Swing of 2 in favor of Wartburg. That was very close. It looked like it. a lot of Wartburg down in the bottom, but again, it's that first place that really makes a big difference, and especially when you have second place to back him up. I think, actually, if Cookie Cat hadn't gotten second there, Wartburg would have dropped that by a point. If I'm at... Yes. It might have been 2 points.
And you see that little half pipe part of this track right there. That is one of the most important parts of this entire track. If you get multiple boosts, because every time you go in the air right there, you get a little bit of a boost. You can get up to 4, which you saw Lewis and Clark pull off right there.
That goes stealing Lewis and Clark's red shell. Really, probably wasn't going to use it for a while. More as a defensive item. Has 2 mushrooms, though. As John Long Gone rides in first place. See a potential position swap. And we will.
And now having a mushroom in first is huge, as that can be another blue shell dodge.
Now the main strategy here, specifically on the half pipes, as here comes the blue shell.
Let's see if he's able to pull off the dodge. It's very specific timing with the mushroom. And he
He
does pull it off there.
I was really concerned there for when he tricked off of the ramp. I thought he was going to miss it. As we enter the final lap.
Yeah, the fun fact about the mushroom dodge, it actually is not that you physically have to speed out of the area of effect of the blue shell. Mushrooms just literally give you blue shell invincibility. So even if you mushroom straight into a wall, you'll still dodge it.
A bunch of bullets used.
And yeah, it makes sense that a shock was coming, as John Long Gone and Lewis and Clark are kind of running away with that one if you look at the minimap there. But it sounds like a few members of Wartburg were able to dodge it, so it should be net positive for Wartburg College here. And this is at the very end of lap 3, too, so this could be a great race for Wartburg if it finishes the way that they're hoping.
Blue shell not finishing. Actually, it skips over everyone. It just didn't hit anyone. That's interesting. One, two, three for Wartburg. That's definitely going to be a positive swing no matter how it is. By the way, happy birthday, Jacob. Member of the Mario Kart team celebrating a birthday today. Trying to win a championship as well as get older, I guess. I don't know how to phrase that.
Celebrate a year of surviving.
There you have it. Year of not getting blue shelled, if you will.
Yeah, happy birthday to Jason. Taking time out of his day to spend it playing Mario Kart. No better way to spend it.
From what I've heard, at least.
It is a Saturday night. He'll have time to celebrate after this game. Probably hoping to close it out here in this game rather than sending it to a game 3. Which right now, it's looking pretty good. That was a 16-point swing in that last race in favor of Wartburg. So still, between all the races played here today, only one negative race for Wartburg. That's got to give you confidence. There's been a lot of close races. But still at the end of the day, only one negative race.
Yeah, as long as you don't see that negative number, it really is a positive. Quite literally.
Yeah.
I didn't even mean that. But DK Mountain, the pick here. Into the cannon.
Once again, you'll see them hop into the cannon rather than tricking because it's slightly faster.
It's really interesting how every single DK map needs a launch of some sorts.
Yeah, it's kind of just a DK classic thing of launching out of a barrel. And you'll see there's actually a pretty strange shortcut in this game, is that you can hop on top of the mountain. Usually when you go out of bounds a little bit in Mario Kart, it kind of just pulls you back into where you're supposed to go. But kind of just takes you there. There's another big shortcut right here that Lewis and Clark doesn't hit super cleanly, but you can kind of hop over that gap if you turn properly.
JBU water, a race for first. I think, yeah, had the triple mushroom. So
the blue shell is on its way, so that's going to be Lewis and Clark just letting first place go straight to the hands of JBU and going to take it right back.
Actually, also got hit by another item, I think, to the Mario.
Wow, and that sets Mario back so much further.
I think they are. Yeah, they're getting Lackitude all the way across the canyon.
And we heard a call that Wartburg has shock in hand right now. Powerful item in the game. So Wartburg going to be looking for dodges here. And And Lewis and Clark just playing it safe there. Knows he has first. Not going to risk taking the shortcut here again. And probably because Shock was in hand, didn't want to get shocked over the gap.
I know you mentioned it to me a little bit ago on a stream, but the fact that you can just straight up shake the controller around to get the tricks is rather interesting.
Yeah, there's two methods of doing a trick. You can either press the hop button right as you go on a ramp, or you can shake your controller to do a trick, and every time you do a trick, it gives you a little boost. And sometimes when there's kind of the wavy part, like you see that bridge, you can just shake your controller to constantly get trick inputs, so you're guaranteed to get a trick as soon as possible. As soon as you go into the air there. But JBU Water going to be having first place right now as we go into the final bend here of lap 3.
Lewis and
Clark has that red shell in hand.
And also the horn in hand, and just in case. Oh,
phenomenal bomb. Has to back up. Oh, and gets hit by so many things now.
Lukey drives
and Lukey falling off. Oh, that is very unfortunate for Lewis and Clark in first all race, and that's what I talked about earlier. Like, mental is so important. It sounds like Wartburg got it first place anyway. See how that worked out.
11th place finish for Lewis and Clark.
Squid and Jacob Water actually getting 4th after all that.
I did see they got hit by a blue shell. So
yeah, okay, all that starts to add up now. So actually, it turns out an unfortunate race for Lewis and Clark, but his teammates took those spots. So overall net win for the team. And it is a 10-point swing for Wartburg once again.
Yeah, little things always add up because it ends up putting more pressure onto the other team.
First and second is just so important. If you get first and second, you most likely are going to have a positive race. And it is JBU's pick of Sunshine Airport now. This, I feel like, is a pretty popular fan favorite of just Mario Kart players in general, but I feel like we haven't seen it too frequently throughout this season.
I agree with that statement, actually.
And perhaps it is one of those races that's just a little bit more favorited amongst kind of the casual player base rather than the competitive player base. I guess there aren't really a lot of shortcuts to take, which is, yeah, I'm not sure when you would want to pick it. I guess when you have all top spots, but Wartburg had 1 and 2.
It could also just be the fact that the track list is really narrowing down now.
Yeah.
In theory,
there are 96 total tracks, so
yeah,
not getting too narrow.
I was gonna say I don't actually know how many tracks there are, but there's a billion. So
yeah, with the DLC, it doubled in size.
I think that is John Long Gone up in first. Fireball is getting rained down. Red shell used. Green shell in hand for Lewis and Clark, but separated from John Long Gone by JBU's Moon.
John Long Gone gonna have to be careful as second place isn't secured. Gonna have to save items for defensive red shells rather than being able to farm items for defensive blue shells.
Green shell thrown, almost a perfect lead, and ends up hitting, I think that was Lukey with that green shell from Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, awkward bounces and not much she can do to dodge that. We apologize for people who are hoping to see a little bit more of Cookie Cat's perspective, but it is just a little too choppy. That's why we're staying mostly on Lewis and Clark at this point. Not sure what happened on that end to make it so choppy. Working fine for the first few races. After that, it changed.
Blue shell inbound.
Yeah, we'll see if John Long Gone was able to have a dodge there.
Doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it. Gets blued right there. Gets hit by a red at the same time, but I think the red got eaten.
And Lewis and Clark's triple mushroom gets stolen away from him by the ghost. John Long Gone in second. Should be good in terms of first and second. Depends on what Moon has here for JBU. Oh, and Lewis and Clark hits the box.
Doesn't look like it mattered for his placement, as John Long Gone took first anyway. See, we hear some complaining about some strategies there from the team. And you hear Lewis and Clark just saying, all right, next race, guys. Next race. And that's one of the things you have to have as mental. And that's why it helps to have a team captain like that who's able to get everybody back on track. Next race is a phenomenal mentality to have. The 16-point swing there for Wartburg. First and second matters so much.
A little bit of a split between the JBU side. Wario Mountain. I actually don't remember what this track is called, but it'll be the pick. Electrodome, that's what it is. Drome, sorry.
I thought this was Electrodome for forever until about maybe a month ago. I was watching a YouTube video about a new Mario Kart technique discovered called the Jeswa glider. Shout out to anybody who's maybe seen that video before. And it's a famous technique on this track, mostly just used by people who are trying to set world records. It's not very practical to try to hit in-game. But yeah, I noticed in that video that they kept saying Electrodrome. I was like, why does this person keep saying it wrong? Turns out I'm the fool.
Something, if you didn't know, which is the gimmick of Mario Kart 8, the zero gravity sections. If you were to run into someone or those little pads in the middle, the little drift spots, you actually get a speed boost from those. It's kind of a gimmick and more a reward for running into people, which you normally would see as a bad thing, because especially depending on character weight, but when everyone's playing a similar weight character, it can really help. But if you got someone like Funky Kong who is a heavier character, it might. I actually don't know if it makes a difference on the zero gravity section. The weight, but I know for certain in a standard driving section, the heavier your character, the more likely you are to win an interaction on a bump.
Yeah, I think weight still matters even on zero gravity. And another fun fact about zero gravity, each car actually has, like when you're looking at the car stats and picking your car in game, it just shows you the speed stat, but hidden in the background, every kart combination has 3 speed stats, one for normal ground, one for water, and one for anti-gravity.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so some cars, even though they might have the same speed stat on the kart select screen, some of them might go faster on water, while the other one goes faster in zero gravity. It is kind of unique. I don't know why they don't just show you that, but classic Nintendo.
Speaking of water, JBU water up in first place. The Mario blazing the double reds, though, from Lewis and Clark.
That might be enough. It's hard to have double defense in first place. It looks like he does take a hit there. And the timing does not look like it was perfect, but another red getting pulled, and that might seal the deal. Probably not enough coins to keep the speed up now as Lewis and Clark takes first place with triple red shells. You know, Water's got to feel bad about that one.
Yeah,
that's Mario Kart at its finest.
That is just peak Mario Kart there. You look at that middle domination from Wartburg. What was that? Was that
1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8?
My goodness, that'll be a pretty point swing for Wartburg.
$20-point difference there. As I said earlier, 10 points is usually a good race. 20 points is a great race. So great race right there on Electrodrome from Wartburg.
Daisy Cruiser once again the pick. Wario Summit.
And saying 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 sounds like, you know, pretty decent. But if you look at it from JBU's perspective, they got 2, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. The bottom 4 spots were taken by JBU.
Lewis and Clark pick. The game has favorites.
And that was race number 6, so that's halfway through this second war here. Wartburg with a 68-point lead, looking extremely favorable for the Knights here.
JBU essentially at this point can't afford to give up any more points in terms of towards Wartburg as well go.
Let's take a look here at Cookie Cat's screen. Looks like the choppiness may have dwindled down a little bit, so we'll get some Cookie Cat gameplay in here while we can. Good old Link on the Yoshi bike.
This is the notorious inside drift that Cookie Cat prefers. The rest of the team always acts like she's an insane person for it.
Yeah, I think it actually is pretty good on this course. For that turn specifically right there, it is pretty good. It is actually a lot worse, though, for the rest of the track now that I think about it, because snaking is very, very prominent since there's these big, wide open sections, and you can't really snake in an inward drifting bike. And this course actually is really technical for no reason. This section upcoming right here requires a lot of very precise drifting as these tables move back and forth. You have to be able to drift around these tables while collecting these item boxes. And it looks very easy when you're watching it, but when you're playing this track, it's really hard to avoid running into those moving tables.
It's annoying, man.
And when you hit one of those moving tables, they stop you dead in your tracks, and it just eats so much of your time.
They're still coming in hot. I think that was... Actually, I don't know who it was that took the bullet there. But 1, 2, 3 for Wartburg right now. You see J. Coop coming in on the left side.
The birthday man in second.
Lewis and Clark blazing the path as the tables start sliding.
And Cookie Cat going to take that turn a little bit too wide and go in this underwater section. This underwater section is slightly slower, but there are chances for item boxes there, which is not what Cookie Cat needed there, so probably did not want to go in that bottom section. Typically, people don't, and ends up eating an item for it. Lewis and Clark takes first place there, as Cookie Cat ends in 8th place. Unfortunate mistake there at the very end. Once again, the clown horns in the audience just are silly goofy.
Gonna be interesting to see what the swing is here. JBU had a lot of that middle section of players.
Yeah, there's a 4-point swing for Wartburg still, getting first and second. It's so hard to lose a race when you get first and second.
That is so crazy. I would not have expected that. Rome Avanti, once again, the pick from Wartburg. Wario Summit. JBU is at least consistent with their picks. And
Wario Summit it is. Now, Wario Summit's one of the unique tracks in the game that there are technically 3 laps, but it's more like 3 splits where you're racing down a mountain the whole time, and it does not repeat at all. It is basically like one giant lap.
It's the... And for those of you who are more inclined to traditional racing styles, this is more the rally.
Yeah, sure. I just played Mario Kart.
Yeah, this is more of a rally stage. Essentially, this is what you can expect from a decent amount of Mario Kart World. Also, it seems like. It does seem like there are still circuits and there will still be traditional lap races. But it looks like a lot of it will be the rally stages where it's all just one big lap.
Drive virtually anywhere.
That's what I've heard.
The ice on that section right there does actually make your traction way lower. It's way more confusing. And you'll see right here, Cookie Cat, attempt to just drop in the water there. The water does actually make you way faster than if you stay up top. Even if you're getting those boost pads on those rocks, it is actually just faster to drive through the water. See Cookie Cat falling back into 12th there after getting hit by an item at an unfortunate time. Gonna look to get this double item block here, see what she gets.
I didn't realize this was called the Wario Dam.
Oh, that's
so funny.
Yeah, amazing.
Also, track called Mount Wario. I was wrong in that, by the way. I wanted to make sure I corrected that.
Yeah, Mount Wario, not Wario Mountain.
Wario Summit. Thinking of DK Summit. I don't know why.
There's a lot of snowy mountains in this game.
Just a few.
Lewis and Clark does have the lead going into the 3rd lap here. Switch back over to him, see how that's going for him.
Through the slalom he goes.
I love the little slalom part here. It just fits so well with the drifting mechanic in Mario Kart.
A boost off the little hills.
It gets lots of tricks there.
Entering the final point.
With double defense as well.
Through the hoops, they will increase your speed, actually, for those of you who did not know. First place confirmed for Wartburg. You see that blue shell, though, flying in real slow.
I believe Wartburg was the one holding on to that blue shell. And Shock with a dodge as we look at Cookie Cat here on this final finish. Going to take 6th place there. starring through a shock there. Big swing now. JBU taking bottom 4 again on that race.
It's seeming more and more like Wartburg will confirm the Division 7 Collegiate Karting League Championship. 1-3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Once again,
20-point swing. 20-point swing for Wartburg on that race.
as we've got 4 more to go. One more Grand Prix of Mario Kart. JBU essentially cannot drop points in order to make sure that they stay in this one. If anything, they're going to need a decent amount of 20-point swings, actually. They will, quite frankly, given the fact that the difference is now 92 points.
Grumble Volcano the pick. Now, this course also is extremely technical. It gets harder and harder as the laps go on. Parts of the track start to crumble and fall off. You can see the cracks in the ground. Sections of the track fall, disappear, turn into lava. So by the third lap, the roads actually get extremely narrow and the turns get more and more difficult to make.
By the way, if you're a cheater and you play Mario Kart Wii, you could just go to the side and do 3 laps around one rock, basically.
Yeah, there's an ultra shortcut there in old versions of this track.
For those of you who did not know, maximum amount of points you can get from a single race is 40 points. As it stands, Lewis and Clark currently bagging.
Yeah, and you'll see him intentionally slow down. That's something that you wouldn't see a lot from more casual players, but if you slow down, the more distance you get between you and the person in front of you, the better items you're likely to get, especially when you're in last.
See here, Cookie Cat going up the left side. I think I always just took the right side, but I don't know why. I don't know if I ever knew if it was actually faster or not. You see it right there, right under Cookie Cat, that part of the track rumbling. That's the part that breaks off.
It is Rumble Volcano for a reason. Rumble Volcano?
Grumble.
Rumble. It's
Grumble.
grumbling.
Grumble, grumble.
We'll switch back over here. We got a star going from Lewis and Clark, who sneaks into first there with 2 mushrooms to boot. There's one to separate that lead a little bit more. We'll see if he ends up saving it or not. Probably going to use it just to make sure he can get defense here. But might not have time. That might have been the final out of block. Never mind. This is lap 2. This is lap 2. Thinking this is lap 3.
Blue Shell coming in. It was a good job to hold on to it.
Let's see if he can land the dodge. And he does. You see how narrow some of these sections are right there. Very easy to fall off if you make one simple driving error.
A coin and a banana. It looks like right now JBU might have 2, 3, 4. But it all comes down to how much Wartburg is bagging, what items they have. You can see a few orange Yoshis. Actually, a blue shell flying in. I don't know if that's going to reach Lewis and Clark in time before he hits the finish line. Doesn't look like it will.
That's going to be first place for Lewis and Clark.
Going to be real close. Interesting to see who finishes this one in second.
Cookie Cat taking 4th there, and John Longod getting 2nd.
This might, depending on how big this is, might have put this out of everything completely. That's it? No, not technically.
No, not quite. 120 would mean that's it.
8
They
points.
need to near perfect. I think just about actually get. They could maybe fudge a few places, but they have to get near perfect on every single race from here on out. The last 3 races. Or no, there's only 2 races left now.
There's
3. I
There's
did
3.
math wrong.
Yeah. JBU needs at least 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then they can't finish anywhere below 8th, I believe. They have a total of 8 points to give in these next 3 races.
Which means most likely this will head for a Wartburg championship, but it's not officially over yet. But Wartburg going to be kind of walking it into the finish line here. These next 3 races to go. And Koopa Cape. This used to be my favorite back in.
I love this one. I love
For
this.
some reason, it doesn't hit the same in 8 for me.
I loved this until I got hit with an item on the part that pushes you off of the side near the end of the lap.
Oh, yep, I know exactly.
The waterfall, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen anyone cut through there. Normally it's to the right of that shell right there, but learning some things on this track. If only you could hold more than 2 items, as Lewis and Clark collected like 4 item blocks on that one round. This waterfall right here is one you're referencing.
Yep. It was all fun and games until I got hit with like a random red shell in first place, and then I felt the water current carried me.
Yeah, just slowly but surely.
You see that pink shy guy all the way in the back?
I've also never seen anybody take a mushroom cut there and skip the ramp. Learning some strats here from Lewis and Clark. And the dodge! That's going to give Lewis and Clark a phenomenal lead now. As
Did just hit J-Coop on his birthday, though.
Ooh, yeah, that is a little messed up.
Kind of BM.
Yeah, if you look at the mini-map here, there is a Shy Guy player on the side of JBU who is quite far back, which is probably where that shock came from. Wouldn't be surprised if a second shock maybe even happened, how far back he is. And probably also a blue shell now that Lewis and Clark has a growing lead. That red shell did cut into his lead a little bit. With good racing fundamentals. Lewis and Clark will probably, with double defense as well, probably seal the deal with first place here.
Yeah, and this will be it. Of course, we still have the. I think we still should be having to play the final 2 races, but
I believe we still will. Probably be like Baby Park picks and.
Yeah. And with that, Wartburg, guaranteed your Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Collegiate Karting League Division 7 champions.
Feels good. It feels good to have another title coming home to Wartburg, coming home to Waverly.
I instantly heard a Baby Park call. You're missing 6 in there.
There we go. Still 2-point difference for Wartburg.
That is everything done and dusted, essentially.
Yeah, the championship's coming to Waverly in these last 2 races, or yeah, last 2 still. Just gonna be played, just kind of for the game's sake. Just kind of when you're watching a basketball clock tick down as they dribble the clock out. It's basically where we are now.
Wild Woods.
Look at that point differential.
My goodness.
Lewis and Clark, 134 points. Next up was Water with 92, I believe.
Yep.
And he has done some phenomenal work. So during these last few races here, I want to give a big shout out to especially Lewis and Clark, really picking up the captain's role here and scheduling plenty of scrimmages, providing so many resources to the rest of his team. Not only did he improve so much as a player, but helped his teammates improve a ton by leading some replay analysis for the team, finding some online resources for everybody, just getting connected. He has been so involved in the Mario Kart community throughout this whole season. And for just, again, being his first season, just really proud of the work that he's been in as a coach. And honestly, just the rest of the team as well following suit. I mean, I was hoping that this would be the way that this goes. With Wartburg, I just know we put in more work than everybody else's. Division 7 is all new schools to the league this season. So out of all the new schools, I knew we might not start the best, but I knew we would finish the best. And that has been the case this season. Really proud of the work that all of them have done.
Yeah, and one thing especially is just the fact that it's a case of Lewis and Clark can suggest that they do things. He can suggest the scrimmages. He can find videos, but it's all up to the players also to follow through with it. And every single one of them has done it really with open arms. As Blue Shell finally hits them. proven.
Yeah,
it's been
unfortunate
proven.
item combo there, but Lukey taking first anyway.
It's been proven that they love the game, realistically, and that's kind of what it comes down to. That's why you play it for esports. That's why you play it competitively, because you love a game so much and you want to get better at it every single time that you pick up a controller.
Yeah, a lot of people frequently ask, like, Mario Kart, is that really that competitive of a game? But just watch these players as Lewis and Clark pulls an insane line, just go in front of that barrel there, almost dodging a red shell because of it. Like, there's so much skill that goes into this game, as hopefully we've demonstrated over commentary, explaining some of the decisions that are going on, players are making as they're playing. That, yeah, a lot sure does go into it. Lewis and Clark gets Mario Karted right here, saying that there's so much skill that goes into it as he gets hit by 3 items and falls into possibly to 12th place. And Lewis and Clark getting 12th there after getting first just about every single race so far. We hear the call for Moo Moo Meadows from Wartburg. One of their favorites that they haven't played yet. And that was still, even though we see Lewis and Clark getting 12th, still a positive race for Wartburg.
Let's see. I want the JBU. I want the random. I want something.
Both will be good.
I want something completely out of the blue. I don't want Baby Park. We've seen it too much. It'll be Moo Moo Meadows.
It's Moo Moo Meadows. What a great way to finish it. The cows. They'll be playing Mario Kart till the cows come home.
That's true. Well, they're home. This is it's literally named after them.
Yeah. And we are home. This is why this is the last race.
True.
Lots of hops. Lewis and Clark just having a good time. A little bit of a celebratory hop around there.
I'll stick with you for at least the first 2 laps of this race, then I'll go out there and I'll get the videos of the celebration, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
that'll be good to have.
As Wartburg gets ready. Not exactly raise a trophy. There is no trophy for at least Div 7 of the CKL.
And hopefully we can stay tuned to have Lewis and Clark, or at least some of the players, come on an interview after the game as well.
Cookie Cat back in 12th.
We'll get some, as Lewis and Clark runs in first once again, get some Cookie Cat gameplay. Fell back in 12th with 3 mushrooms to work with. Mushrooms are extremely good on this course, as you can kind of cut through the grass right there like that.
And I'll leave you with Coach Fish and the sounds of the game.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. And kind of just a victory lap here for Wartburg College, having fun on this last race, knowing that the championship is theirs. All their hard work has paid off. Yeah, probably wanted to get a good placement here to end things, just for the vibes. And GG's to JBU as well. I mean, I talked about how hard Wartburg has worked, but I'm sure JBU has worked equally as hard throughout this semester. I mean, to get second place in the whole division is also not a small feat. So, well done to them. You can hear the celebrations coming in. Hopefully you can hear that through the microphone. And that is first place in Division 7 for Wartburg College. The 144-point difference to end it all. And we will see if anyone wants to come on for an interview here shortly, so stay tuned for that.
Let's go!
You guys can put headsets on if you want to say anything.
Hi, Mom.
I just want to say, great season, and let's go!
Yeah, the poor mics, poor headphones users. So Eli, you wanna? Yeah. Let me switch headsets so I can be next to you there.
Yeah, Ashley's got RA duty. He's
Yeah,
late.
yeah, we got
He's
some
like late right now.
some students. It is still finals week next week, so
Yeah.
a lot of work
Don't
going
ask me
on.
about that.
Yeah, I won't ask you about that here. First of all, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I think second one was, the first war was a little. I think JBU definitely showed who they were there. And I think we struggled to hold on to mid spots, and I think we got a lot of bottom spots, and that's why we were. Like myself, I tried to run up a couple times and just got hit out, and that's just my fault. That's a skill issue. So I think we definitely calmed down a little bit. I think first few races we were a little antsy, which is why we only had a couple like really small plus races.
Yeah.
And I think they didn't get many winning races, so I think we got better at getting up to the mid spots and just holding them. Not necessarily trying to get like third or fourth or fifth, just holding on to like sixth, holding on to seventh. That's more important than trying to get up.
Yeah, for sure. And there was a lot of races where we were able to take first and second, and that's what held on those few positive points
getting
there.
first place is definitely the most important part, but second, third, and fourth are, well, second's obviously the next most important. But again, like mid spots are underrated. Getting bottom two, like bottom three, is like actually devastating. Like getting what is that, 6 points for 3 players is like abysmal for the race. So we only really did that once, and I think
let's zoom out here and beyond even today's match. What do you think were some of the most important things you guys did throughout this whole season that led you to this point?
Yeah, I think beginning, honestly, I'm gonna give like 99% of the credit to you. Having us time trial Neo Bowser City, I think initially just boosted so much of our skill because it's such a difficult track. We saw, especially for inside drift players, you saw Cookie Cat's perspective. That's so tough on inside, and she does such a great job of doing it. Just didn't work out her way in the end, but there's a lot of really technical details you have to do there. So that carrying over to doing other time trials you assigned us to what I've assigned for time trials. And then later in the season, when postseason was happening, after we SXU by only like 80 points twice, I realized JBU was going to be a really good contender, and we had to do more scrimmage matches. And we did about 3 to 4, 5 scrimmage matches, and I think we only won 1 or 2 of them. And that was the point. The point was to lose, so that we know what it feels like and what not to do. Because we don't want to win by like 150 in a scrim. Like I want to either win by like 10 or just straight up lose, so we learn what not to do. And that is pretty much exactly what happened there. Like what you guys just watched is like the peak of how everybody was playing, in my opinion.
Yeah. So great work, and I want to give you a big shout out. I gave you a big shout out earlier during those last few races, but thank you for all the work you've put in leading this team and scheduling these scrimmages, finding the resources, kind of coaching the team as well. So yeah, big shout out to Lewis and Clark, Eli,
Thank you.
For all the work that he's put in, and thank you to everybody watching. It was awesome having another championship come home to Wartburg, and thanks for tuning in. Till next season. This is our last stream of the year, most likely, and stay tuned for more to come. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you.